My name is Brandon Weatherby, sitting in the Mid-City Cafe with
this guy that just recorded like 20 minutes, just primo interview.
7 minutes. We just wasted 7 minutes of very fascinating interview with Adam Friedland.
Yes.
We have learned that Adam is born in LA, moved to Vegas as a small child, is correct?
Yes.
High school in Vegas, after high school, a year in Israel. Zionist movement, part of that political group.
Yeah, you can say that. It was mainly just Jewish kids trying to hook up with each other and hang out, and a lot of like weirdo kids that weren't as I was like in my high school I was kind of like a nerd, not nerd,
but you were the funny guy in high school.
I was like sort of the funny guy in high school, and then in camp I was a stud.
Were you a stud?
Yeah, that's where I learned the ropes.
A lot of hand jobs.
Yeah, well, no comment. I mean, I might be running for judge one day, so.
You are a political man. You went to GW.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, and obviously I want to preface this by saying that I believe that ideologies are always changing, and my ideologies have always changed, but sort of my experience of going to Israel was I lost kind of a lot of my inclination to be religious. I mean, I consider myself to be Jewish culturally. I'm incredibly Jewish in terms of, I'm a neurotic white guy.
No, these are your Jewish stereotypes, though.
Sure, but I think that
there's nothing in any Jewish text that says be neurotic, enjoy comedy.
No, it's kind of enshrined into the social ethic, I think. There are values that are held, like education, study.
By the way, Adam's funny. He's been on the show. That's why we're doing this interview. Sorry, we lost that as well. This is part 2.
I think the last one was better, just so everyone.
It was much better. It was so fascinating. I was heavily involved. We just tried to summarize 7 minutes and 30 seconds. It's not working so much. No. You are smart. You graduated at 23, is that right? 23.
I graduated in 3 years after my year. So I went to GW for 3 years.
So then you graduated at 22.
Yeah,
it's
24
now.
Time. Yeah.
You took the GREs recently.
I took the LSAT.
You took the LSATs recently.
Yeah.
You've been accepted to law school.
Well, I took them at the end of college, but yeah.
And you deferred.
I'm gonna reapply, I think.
Why? Why did you defer?
I think that it was a combination of things. I think that right now the choice to go to law school, especially in our economic times, is a pretty big choice, especially financially.
Absolutely.
I went to GW and I signed on loans when I was 18 years old, and I didn't really know what those loans meant.
Are you paying those loans off now?
I'm paying them off now, and then I have the prospect of facing another something like $200,000 in loans.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm doing comedy.
You're a new guy to comedy, which is crazy because you're very funny.
Thank you.
You started in February of 2011.
Correct.
It's August of 2011.
Yeah.
And you're one of 2 funniest people in DC. And you grew up a comedy nerd, you said. Like in SNL, watching a lot of Premium Lens.
Yeah. Monty Python was pretty much the first love of mine. My dad my parents are immigrants. They're from South Africa.
Really?
Yeah. And they're from Cape Town. And
have you been?
I have been when I was a little kid. I haven't been back in a while. I really.
Do you want to go back?
Oh, I definitely do. I want to go back now with my family now that I'm older to sort of
remember.
No, yeah, but also kind of like I can appreciate it more because I'm, in the transition into adulthood.
Okay.
I did a similar trip with my family a couple summers ago to London, which is where both my parents went to college.
Wow. You're cultured.
I guess so. I think that's growing up. That's why I'm not cultured. I think that I always sort of growing up felt different. I grew up in Las Vegas, which was a red state. It was a lot of Hummers. It was a lot of the economy was incredibly good at the time.
Yeah.
And subsequently, it's the bottom has fallen out.
Yeah.
And I went home a couple weeks ago.
Home is still Vegas?
Home is still Vegas. My parents live in Vegas. I saw houses in my neighborhood with the lights off and foreclosures all around. I think it's I guess it's having a really serious impact, a real world impact on my family, and I'm kind of seeing it myself. And but I always, when growing up, I kind of saw myself as better than everyone. I think
This makes sense. Continue.
I had sort of this air of superiority because I think maybe my parents were foreign and they exposed us to art and they exposed us to things that they found valuable, like culturally valuable.
What do your parents think of your decision to do comedy? Do they know?
They do know, and I think that they support it. I think that they're also mindful of the fact that we're in precarious economic circumstances
So
right
do you
now.
think if it was still boom time, they'd be pissed that you're not in law school?
No, I think that they respect my decision to.
Have they seen any of it?
They've seen it. Yeah, they listened to the podcast a few weeks
really?
ago.
What did they think?
Of me?
Yeah, of you. Not me. I don't care what they think of me. They're not my target demo.
I don't know. I think that they see potential.
What did you do
It's
then?
not-
I think you did your
I did
stand-up.
like the Entourage.
When you did your Entourage, you did your Natalie Portman, which I bleeped out. I don't know if you listened to
Yeah.
that.
That was funny.
Adam's going to be on, I think, DC show that he's in town for that he wants to be on. Hopefully Adam will end up being the show's Chris Elliott to David Letterman. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, a lot of people don't know what that means. I say you're one of the funniest people in DC and not comedians in DC because I don't necessarily view you as a stand-up, but more of a performer. I have yet to see you do the exact same act.
No, I don't have a
every
set.
night. You don't have a set, but you can easily fill 20 minutes.
I give Phil like an hour of bullshit.
Why? I still don't understand why you went up. You were the funny kid in high school. I get that. You've always known how to talk to people. I get that. But what in February of this year made you want to go on stage?
I think that I was facing sort of this prospect of going to law school in 6 months, and there was kind of like this urge that I suddenly had to, I don't know, fill this need of mine to kind of express myself in a public, very naked way.
Do you feel like you are expressing yourself?
No.
Do you think you do any personal material? Or are you just not that kind of comic?
I don't think that I can say what kind of comic I am after 6 months.
That's fair. Who are the people you look up to?
The people I look up to are Louis C.K. I liked, when I was in high school, I was really into Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that Louis C.K. is sort of on another planet.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, he is our Beatles. We get that. Every comic kind of feels like ashamed to say Louis C.K. is my favorite.
Really hyperbolic, and I speak pretty much 70% of the time in hyperbole, so I'm not going to be afraid to say this. But we are special. We are lucky to be living in a time with such a special talent.
Absolutely.
Producing such a profound workload.
See, I think this will now be the norm.
That's what I don't have the balls to do. I can go on stage and be funny, and I can do things that'll make people laugh because I know what makes people laugh because I've done it my entire life. I used to put on shows when I was in elementary school for my family in the living room. Well, the show has subsequently been named, and it's sort of pejorative, the Adam Friedland Show, which is this zone I get into during social interaction where I just can't get out of my own movie. And I just start, and my friends get so frustrated with me. They get so frustrated with me, and they torture me about it. And sometimes it's deserved, and sometimes it's not. But going back to how I view stand-up, I think that I'm going to start, and I've been writing material that is real, and that has authenticity.
Have you tried it out yet?
No, I haven't.
Why not?
I just haven't found the right venue.
Because I've seen you, I think I was there the first night you did Entourage.
Yeah.
You were writing it right before you went on stage.
I was writing, I did Entourage at the BYT.
Yeah, I was there that night. And I don't think you were writing it that night. I sort of wrote
that on the metro coming home from work.
Yeah, so it's not like you can't just go up with a new idea. Why are you holding back on the personal stuff?
I don't know. I feel like from what I've heard from a lot of comics, I mean, it takes a while to find your voice.
Absolutely, but do you want to ever know your voice, or do you want to be able to do character work the entire time?
No, desperately. I think that that is what comedy has the capability of, what stand-up has traditional stand-up has the capability of being, which is kind of an untethered vision of reality.
There's two versions of the traditional view of stand-up. It's the Mark Twain, I'm the guy on stage telling the story, and I'm in the story. That's number one. He's the first stand-up comic. But then there's also the vaudeville guys that just recycle jokes for 50 years and have a career. Mm-hmm. So there really isn't a traditional... I mean, Jerry Seinfeld's a traditional comedian. Do you know anything about his life? No, you don't.
No, and I respect that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You obviously know a lot about Louis C.K. You know what you want. They want you to know.
I know it. I guess so.
So why do you feel the need that you have to be exposing yourself to be, I guess, fulfilled?
Because I feel like that's... I feel like that is a higher form of artistic expression.
But isn't a laugh a laugh? Does it really matter?
I think it does.
Why?
Because I think that you can... there are things that people will laugh at out of ignorance. I saw... Here's a perfect example. I saw... my sister and I talked about the Bruno movie when it came out. Okay, and the joke, I think... I'm a huge Sacha Baron Cohen fan. I think where a lot of the characters come from. I used to watch it on Sunday nights with my family.
You do a lot of characters, that's what you're talking about.
And I think like Monty Python and Sacha Baron Cohen and SNL and like a lot of sketch that I was at UCB, a lot of sketch that I was exposed to. I think that's where I kind of got that inclination. What was I saying before that? I completely lost my train of thought.
Character versus role.
Yeah. But I think that for me, I think that there's a certain perspective that you get in life. Like at 24, it's difficult to have that perspective. I think that Louis C.K.
I think Louis C.K. is essentially like the Jordan of comedy. Now everybody thinks they got to do, like, you got to dunk from the free throw line. You can just score the basket. That's what matters. The way you score points doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I think that you should have I think that this is what I was saying before I got off track. I think that when I was so I saw the Sacha Baron Cohen movie, the Bruno movie, and I talked to my sister about it, and she saw it with some of her friends in Las Vegas, and some of them were sort of broy, a little bit, whatever. And so they saw the movie together, and they were all laughing. Everyone was laughing, but they were laughing because they said, "Oh, it's so gross that he's being so gay." And they were laughing out of prejudice, when in actuality his joke was making them laugh out of their own prejudice.
Of course, but so what? A laugh is a laugh is a laugh. And I don't think that movie was mean to anyone.
I don't think that movie was mean to anyone. I think that sometimes,
if anything, the movie was mean to mean people.
Sometimes you can get a laugh, but I don't. I think that the most valuable laughter is something that sort of comes out of the human experience. And I think that comics that are able to do that, like Doug Stanhope or Louis C.K.
Yeah, Stanhope doesn't have jokes. He just has, like, brilliant points of view.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, my general view on existence, this is big, guys. We're getting real broad. It's like, we're all on Earth for a finite amount of time, and we all share the same experience, which is mortality.
You sound exactly like Louis C.K. and Corolla right now.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, yeah, and maybe it's because I agree with them, but like I think that within there's sort of a sinister joke to life,
Yes,
a very dark, sinister joke, and I think that the people that can disarm that and make light of it and sort of bring humor out of that are the geniuses.
Okay.
I think those. I think
that's what you want to be doing.
Maybe. I mean, I see myself doing stand-up and performance for the rest of my life. I don't know.
Do you really see yourself going to law school and then going up on stage at night?
I think that's the only way I can. And
then die.
And then die of a drug overdose. I think that's the only way I can stay sane, really. It's just become... if I'm intending on going to law school next year, and I think that
because you're given like a year of honest to God like push,
I'm
getting better, developing.
Yeah, but I've sort of realized in this last year, like it takes a shit ton of luck to get
No, it
success.
doesn't. No, shut up.
You don't think so?
Absolutely
I
not.
think there are a lot of talented people out there.
Yeah, and they will get their due.
Like if I got the Hannibal Buress deal,
How did Hannibal Buress get that deal?
by being amazing.
Yeah, it took 7 years of nonstop. He was going up 400 times a year.
Yeah.
He was hitting 3 open mics in Chicago before he moved to New York.
And I don't know if I have 7 years. I mean, I've seen ones. I don't have 7 years.
There's
and it's
no
really
luck
sad.
with Hannibal. He worked his ass off. That's why I don't like the luck thing. It's just you're doing what you need to do.
What I'm saying is like, yeah, I probably wouldn't if I got a development deal or got a job writing for SNL or 30 Rock, whatever. Like, obviously, I would reconsider. But I think that the trajectory that I'm on and all the work that I've put forth,
You don't want to lose that.
I'm not ready to part ways with that unless there's something that it's shitty. It's really a shitty
Dilemma?
No, I like to think that I'm part of a larger issue in this country, which is how higher education has become commodified, and how I signed on loans as an 18-year-old, which I'm responsible for paying back right now without realizing what that meant. And
why do you worry so much about money?
Why do I worry about money?
Yeah, why do you worry so much about
Because
money?
if I default on my loans, then my parents have to pay my student loans, and then it fucks their credit.
Okay, but once
I'm part of a family. My parents are immigrants.
Okay.
They came from South Africa, and they, I think that.
I'm not saying you should default on your loans.
I'm not saying that either, and I think that to get political right now. I don't know if you guys have in TV land or internet land out there have been reading the news, but the next bubble after real estate is education.
Yeah.
I mean, people aren't going to be able to. You can't foreclose on a human being. There's no leverage. You can file bankruptcy.
Yeah.
You can move to another country.
Mm-hmm.
There's
no debtor's prison anymore.
There's no debt. Well, if you buy a house you can't afford, you can fuck your credit and you can move out and you'll be fine. You won't owe that money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But if you sign on an education, like I loved politics. I wanted to come to DC. There weren't the state education prospects in Vegas weren't that good. If I lived in California or Michigan or a state with better public education, I'd probably go to the state school. My family made incredible sacrifices.
So you seem like a very family-oriented man.
Yeah.
With a lot of anger.
No. I don't think anger. I don't think it's anger. I think that it's...
You seem to be very angry at the current system.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's despicable. But the thing that I think is pretty sad is that in the 60s, we saw our parents, we saw the boomers try to fight the system, right? We saw and it's, people debate how much they were trying to fight the system and how much they were just trying to get, fucked up at Woodstock and get laid,
Yeah.
But I think that we're in this sort of this age where we can accumulate information and absorb information at a schizophrenic rate.
Yeah.
And we are incredibly jaded by everything.
Absolutely.
I think that the reason my generation doesn't fight back is because we all owe our student loans. I think that's part of the biggest reasons for that existing.
It's not that we owe. Yeah, I feel like we were beat before we even tried. But there's nothing wrong with that. I think I've come to this realization where I just don't care anymore. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to die. That's the only definite. So I might as well fucking try. And then don't have a kid until you have money. That's just how I'm going to live.
Yeah.
Pay all the bills as I can, be as nice as I possibly can, live with the anger. It's always going to be there. But until I'm rich, fuck it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot wrong with it, but I don't feel like there's another option.
No, I mean, I get to turn this on you. I admire, I think something I admire about the podcast, I admire about you is that...
Oh, shut up.
I gotta say, I admire, the fact that you have dreams and you have You have defined dreams.
I'm very driven.
You're pursuing that.
I have dreams, but I'm not as funny.
You're not as funny.
I'm not as funny as you. I know that, and I accept that.
What's your goal?
Talk show host on TV within 4 years.
Within 4 years.
That's the goal. 4 years for TV, 2 years for
Network?
Ideally following Ferguson.
Okay.
But realistically, something more like Spike or Fuse.
But don't you think that they would like consider giving it to like Marin or Mulaney or someone like that? Like a late night spot?
Absolutely, yeah. That's why I said 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Absolutely, but Marin's too old. It's the same. They're going to go with a younger demographic.
Sure.
They're going to follow Ferguson. This is assuming that they're going to want a 1:30 a.m. talk show.
Yeah.
Probably a half-hour format, but I'm fine with that. I don't want 10
like a
11:30.
Carson Daly type of
Yeah,
format?
and that I actually really like Carson Daly's format. It's a brilliant format, and he's
I haven't watched much of his show.
great. They took it out of the studio. He's not a bad guy at what he does. He's just not great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's extremely likable, but he has absolutely no edge. He doesn't need to have edge. And I think that's the problem with it. I think Fallon is proving that you could have no edge and be a very successful late night host.
Sure.
I, on the other hand, am very
But I think
mean and like.
I think the
Ferguson
thing
and
that
Letterman.
the advantage you have in what you're doing right now is that we could really see with Fallon at those early episodes. He was
Oh God, yes.
he was really
Absolutely.
But he's really grown into his own. And I think that if you keep doing this,
Yeah, that's why I said 4 years. Like, I am not TV ready. I know that. I need to lose weight still. I need to have a good haircut all the time. And these things matter. No one wants to see no beast man on television. No one wants to see some weird hair on television. I have to be able to shave every day. No, you know what I mean? These things actually matter. And you can't just buck the entire system. You can't change the meaning of a word. You can do small things within that system, and I'm fine with that. I mean, I have a huge leg up that I'm a white male.
sure.
How many late night show hosts are there that are white males? 95%. That's yeah. Is he still on? There's Chelsea Handler. Lopez, he's gone. There's no one left.
Chelsea
It's just
Handler.
Chelsea Handler, and that's it.
Dude, she's yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
I mean,
nothing.
there's a lot wrong with that, but for me to rail against the system, and I'm not going to complain about having a leg up. So why should I complain about the system? If anything, because of things like cable and podcasting.
What is
doesn't really
it
matter.
about the format that appeals to you?
I am not the most talented anything, but I like hanging out and talking to really interesting people. That's it.
Yeah, but you clearly have terrible taste if you're talking to me right
Fuck you. I hate that snaking his tail comedy bullshit.
Okay, but here's the thing.
And no one knows how to take a compliment. I'm the same. I know that.
Okay. I've realized that in order to feel like you can make it in anything, and especially in show business, you have to have, and everyone has this sense of entitlement.
Yeah.
Like they have their spot out there, and it's
Yeah.
kind of disconcerting.
Why?
Because I see a lot of people in DC that I think, I think comics are kind of sometimes hostile to one another.
Oh,
because
God,
I think
yes.
everyone sort of feels that way about themselves, and I don't know how to feel about myself.
I see
Because of that.
problem with that, and I have that too. But at the same time, it's actually a good thing. Here's how I feel. I'm going to get what I deserve.
Yeah.
Now, if it doesn't happen, did I deserve it? Absolutely not. Sometimes it's time, and sometimes
You
it's
don't
not.
think so?
No, because here's what I'm trying to do. Let's say I don't get on late night TV. So what? I'm
Sure.
trying to carve out a niche like this. This thing. If this thing can pay the bills, I want to do this thing. TV is the ultimate goal because that's what I grew up watching. But it's like the whole Conan Tonight Show thing. It doesn't matter. It's just a title. Just being on TV, trying to connect with people. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
To think that we're all narcissists. We all are. We are using amplified sound and a light to make people pay attention to us. That's insane.
Well, I think that it also has to do with our generation, our general generation. Like we were some of the first kids that grew up in households where parents, I'm not saying they did this or not, but parents were told that loving your child is a necessary part of childhood.
Yeah, I know.
And I think that there is a lot of good that comes about it as a result of that. But I think the negative side, because that's just naturally how I look at things maybe, is that we have this concept, everyone in my generation has this concept that they're special. Yeah. Right? And I think that what that prohibits us from doing, especially comics, is from having any concept of the collective, having any larger concept about how one's own actions affect the greater masses.
That's true. That's kind of why
That's why comics will be the last people to ever organize into a guild or a union or any type of.
That's very interesting.
And that's why they keep getting fucked over by clubs and by the system because they don't care about one another.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think you can just have an overarching like this is why it doesn't work because UCB proves that wrong, Death Ray proves that wrong. My friends, comedians you should know prove that wrong. There's 6 guys. The weekly show sold out every week. Debuted at #1 on iTunes. They prove that you can do it, but at a certain point, is that
the thing with what's his name, Chappelle's friend?
No. You're thinking of Neil Brennan.
Yeah. What is that thing?
I don't know, but the comedians you
His
should know.
ex-friend.
Yeah, comedians you should know is Joe Magellan, Michael Sanchez, Drew Michael, Mike Leibowitz.
The Chicago guys?
These are all Chicago guys. I forgot where it left off, and I feel awful because Danny Callis, who's the last one? Marty DeRosa. Marty was in a film of mine. All 6 of those guys, completely different styles of comedy. All of them are great. And sooner or later, they're going to be tired of it because you're on stage alone. Yeah. You don't need to be in a collective. It's the most. You should be alone. The guys you like, they're alone in their head. They're not trading jokes. Like, they're not.
No, sure.
So you don't. This does not need a union at all.
I think that the business format. I think that it makes it incredibly hard, especially for people like me that can't afford to like leave my job because I have.
Okay.
It makes it hard for people to make a living.
It makes it hard for everybody, but once you do, but it also weeds out the people that are weak. It also weeds out the people that aren't funny, that are just doing it as a hobby.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good thing.
I don't think that those things are. I don't think that that's necessarily a trade-off.
Why?
I think that because there could be a system that could be in place in order to make sure that
it's never going to be in its point.
When I hear about I was like gung ho on going to New York, doing comedy, just fucking doing it, right? And I hear stories of people paying $10 to get on an open mic.
That's here though too.
Is that here?
Well, Riot charges for their open mics on Tuesday.
You have to pay to get in?
Yeah, to watch an open mic, you got to pay $10.
Do you have to pay
I don't know
to
if you have to pay to
perform?
perform. I don't know if you have to perform. Okay.
Well, this place is closing. We're at a cafe.
So we're going to walk a little bit and close it up. So here's an ad.
Шла мимо свадьба, умерла бы вся дома на диване, то убийца вызвал бы скорую, дал бы врачу на лапу, там кремация, считаю все, что